Hello everyone, I'm Michael. Today I'm going to present you an application by SYSTRONICS called PJC Security. For project and job costing module users, it's a well-known fact that there is no standard way to restrict user access to certain contracts. PJC Security takes care of this. It allows restricting user access to permitted contracts only. It can be used to prevent users from entering transactions for the contracts they are not involved with or view sensitive information about such contracts. It can also help users in finding data they work with more efficiently as they see less unnecessary data. How does the application work? The authorization is based on the first contract segment defined in PJC Options. So in the sample company, the first segment is sector. So the authorization will be based on sector. Even though the application allows defining security by the first segment set up in PJC Options, this segment can be used anywhere in the contract structure. After activating the application, you need to use the JX user PJC authorization screen to assign segment values to users in order to enable them to work with contracts. If you do not configure user authorizations after activating the application, no user will be able to access or use in transactions contracts that contain the restricting segment in their structure. However, all of the PJC reports will be available for all users with no restrictions. These reports will print all contracts in the selection range. Now in our company we have three users, admin, user 1 and user 2, and each assigned different sector segment values. So admin is assigned currently all available sector segment values. That means that he will have access to all contracts. Let's check that. So for admin user, as you can see, all contracts currently available in this company are accessible. And for user 1, which was assigned only segment value 120, let's see which contracts are accessible. Okay. There are three contracts and all of them contain only sector segment value 120. And the same logic applies to also user 2, which was assigned only segment sector value 220. Actually, when we say restricting access to certain contracts, what we mean under that? The areas which can be controlled by the application are the following. Using PJC contracts in accounts receivable and AP invoices, using PJC contracts in PO transactions, PJC contract maintenance and PJC transactions, and also a number of predefined PJC reports. I already showed you how it works in PJC contract maintenance screen. Now let's have a short example also regarding, for example, AR transactions. So currently, I am logged in by user 1. I go to accounts receivable batch list and try to create a PJC related invoice. Okay, let's do that for user 2. Let's add it, and let's keep in mind that the badge in which the transaction was created is 91. Now let's login by user 1 and see whether the badge created by user 2 is shown for this user. As you can see, the last badge number is 90, so the 91 badge is not shown for this user, and in case we create a new badge, it will have number 92. Okay. It's also worth mentioning that the contracts which do not contain the restricted segment in their number structure, as well as contracts where the restricted segment is left blank, are fully available for all users. All other contracts that contain the restricted segment in their structure are hidden for restricted users or denied to access. PJC Security also controls user access to PJC information via reports. Users can print 7 predefined reports. Let me show you the list. These reports print the contract information only if the user is authorized to work with the contract. Now let me bring an example regarding reports. So currently we are logged in by user 1. Let's print contract summary, which was available in the list. Okay, so here we have just 3 reports shown on this report, and all these reports contain sector segment value 120, which was assigned to user 1, and same would be with user 2. As you remember, user 2 was assigned only segment value 220. Now let's see what would be shown on the report output. There are only 2 reports, and again, those which contain 220 segment value. Please note that apart from the 7 reports supported by PJC Security, all other PJC reports are hidden for restricted users. However, the users that are not defined on the JX user PJC authorization screen can print all of the PJC reports. You need to set up all the users that have Sage 300 PJC access in JX to prevent them from printing unauthorized information in reports. Okay, thank you for attending our webinar. This much about PJC security application.